TRT dosing. Where is the sweet spot? Now, take my view on this with a grain of salt, because I'm only 5 months into this and my dosing is not set in stone. I, like a lot of other people, started off with 200 milligram dose per week. It put me quite a bit past the top end of the scale, but I felt great. After 10 weeks, I added 250 IUs of HCG twice a week. I just got my 10-week blood work back from that, and the HCG alone added 450 nanograms per deciliter to my trough total. Add this to my already substantially high total, and the doctor immediately dropped my dose to 160 milligrams. This may not be my final dosing amount, but it's where I'm at now. Let's talk about the sweet spot. Before the extra 450 nanograms, I felt great. Lifts were great, cardio was great, recovery was great, my outlook on the day was great, my mood and overall sense of well-being were great. And just with an additional 450 nanograms, my lifts, cardio, and recovery were fantastic. What little I had time for. But everything else seemed to suffer. My blood pressure was going up, my labs were off, I was getting jealous, and I didn't feel quite right. It was just too much. Thinking back before I started TRT, I thought if it helped all of my symptoms of low T, that would be great. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't help but think it'd also be nice to get swole. So my thoughts on the sweet spot back then were, my sweet spot will be as much as a doctor will let me put in that needle. But after being lucky enough to find my sweet spot early on, and then blowing by it for several weeks, I now think the reduced recovery time with a higher dose isn't worth the sacrifice of all the other positives of TRT. I am more than willing to wait a little longer for the gains if I can feel great in all of the other areas. So, my thoughts on a sweet spot on TRT right now are, when everything feels right, you're probably in it. For me, it was obvious after about 4 weeks or so on HCG, something wasn't quite right. I think that's why they say to be honest with yourself, not only physically, but also mentally, when it comes to evaluating what's going on while you're trying to dial in your dose. If you only focus on the workout benefits of the TRT, you may be overshooting your sweet spot and missing out on the other positive effects of TRT. Anyway, that's my current view on the subject. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching and have a great day.